Hello everyone, if this is not a full-blown war, tell me what it is. The governor of Anambra State, Governor Charles Soludo, has declared a full-blown war on Anambra over Monday sit-at-home.
In the southeastern part of Nigeria, the term sit-at-home has brought nothing but fear to the indigenous people who live there.
Udogaji is really working.
Holy!
Anyone who has not opened, for main market of all markets to be shut down. I know that people have done this sit at home on Mondays for quite some time now. And as they say, an abomination that lasts a year becomes culture. No. This can no longer go on in Anambra. Are you hearing me? And I will tell you this. You either decide that you want to trade here or you can go elsewhere. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
This main market, if you don't want it open, I'll come and take bulldozer and level it. Are you hearing me? And I'm very, very serious about it. I'm not joking. Going forward, any Monday, any shop that is not open will be locked for 1 week. And let me tell you this. As I'm speaking to you now, when I finish this whole main market and all the adjoining these things will be locked down for the whole of this week. There will be no market anywhere here. Are you hearing me? Each Monday will come and inspect. If people are not in their respective shops, it will be shut down again. If you like, I don't mind shutting down main market for the remainder of this year. If you don't like it, go elsewhere and trade. But if you're here, we're not going to allow this. It's plain economic sabotage. And also we suspect whoever closes their shop to have some criminal intent.
If you don't come back to work, your work after the 1 week, I will make it another 2 weeks. And let me tell you, I think the government, I have looked at the pictures of the market, it's quite a shanty and scanty. I think it is really time for governor to close that market for the next 1 or 2
these
years.
are your thoughts. These are your thoughts. Some will disagree with you because that might cause even more chaos within the state.
No, that's not chaos. I don't think it's rebuilding the market. You're in Lagos. Lagos is rebuilding their market. People are
crying. People are crying because
at the end of
the day, the shops are even more expensive, and those that were there before may not even have the
One thing that can never be taken away from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the undeniable fact that the Igbo genuinely love him, and his cause is one that the Igbo people have never taken for granted. Now, what is the story? Reports indicate that Governor Charles Soludo ordered the closure of Onitsha Main Market, citing the continued Monday sit-at-home observed by traders in protest of the continued detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. As we all know, this sit-at-home has been going on for years. If I'm not mistaken, 5 years now. The directive reportedly stated that any trader who fails to open on Monday would have their shop space sealed for the rest of the week. Now, this decision has not gone down well with many people. What remains unclear is why Governor Soludo has chosen to come down so hard on Igbo traders, forcing them to abandon a routine that has become both symbolic and consistent. For many in Igbo land, sitting at home on Mondays has become a form of, peaceful civil resistance, especially in an environment where open protests have effectively been suppressed. And one must ask, why is Soludo doing this? This is a clear case of civil disobedience, and a responsible government ought to respect the will of the people. The governor should respect his office and allow the people to express themselves peacefully. Now, in trending videos circulating online, the masses were even seen chanting, "Nnamdi Kanu is our savior. Soludo, show me the law," openly defying the directive. This alone demonstrates how deeply rooted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's influence and support remain within Igbo land and even beyond. And to me, I have always maintained that the silence in Igbo land since the conviction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is even more dangerous and more significant than the physical coming out to protest, if actually it ever happened. Now, that silence speaks louder than the endless protests ever could. It carries a message that should not be ignored. And this is why those in charge of Nigeria, those in charge of Nigerian government, must not take Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for granted, especially his cause, because we all know what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is pursuing for. Now, the chant of his name is one that every living Igbo person knows, including Igbo politicians who may have, publicly or silently oppose his release. But then, when the time comes, they go silently, they go privately to understand its very great voice. Now, this is why Soludo is approaching a risky deal. Governor Soludo's directive to force traders to open on Mondays is counterproductive for several reasons. And this I have to say. First, the Monday sit at home has evolved beyond a mere protest tactics. It has become a symbolic expression of grievance, identity, and unresolved political trauma tied to the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is seen generally as the Igbo supreme leader. Now, when a government tries to crush a symbol rather than address its root cause, it often strengthens resistance instead of weakening it. Secondly, enforcing market openings through threats and sanctions risk alienating the very economic base that sustains the state. Igbo traders are the backbone of Anambra's economy. Turning economic activity into a battlefield creates fear, resentment, and passive deviance, conditions that historically will lead to instability within the state. That is going to make his government ungovernable. And thirdly, the policy places Soludo in the direct confrontation with public sentiment, not violent actors. This is dangerous politically. Civil disobedience thrives on moral legitimacy. When the people believes their action is peaceful and justified, coercion only deepens sympathy for their cause and erodes trust in government. And finally, the optics are poor. Viral videos of traders chanting and defying the order project an image of a government out of sync with its people, weakening authority rather than the enforcing it. Very interestingly, this is what the Soludo son, that is Ozuna, has to say. He wrote, "Do you guys want dedicated Monday sit-at-home content to make your sit-at-home a little more vibey? Because that is the best I can do. Updates, I post and you all let me know what is happening. But my stance is always the same. Even though a lot of times I agree with you, I am not ever in support of any kind of dictatorship or leaders who impose themselves on the people. But my stance still remains. I am not an extension of the government. I am not a mouthpiece or a representative of the government. So if you want to lay out your grievances in my comments, that is fine, but that still remains a long shot from the resolution you seek." Now, a lot of people actually reacted very, very vehemently, saying that this was a direct attack to his father, Governor Soludo. But then, what do you have to say? Leave your comment in all of those reactions because they are very important to our analysis. Now, this is what I believe Soludo should do instead. First, shift from force to dialogue. Soludo should immediately open structured dialogue with market leaders, traders, traditional rulers, and youth groups. Because anybody that has ever tried to counter these people violently has never had it good. We take what is happening in Imo State as number one example. Now, me saying that he should shift it from force to dialogue is not as a publicity stunt, but as a genuine listening process, because people are more likely to compromise when they feel heard. Now, secondly, you separate security from expression. What does that mean? The government must distinguish between peaceful civil disobedience and criminal violence. Now, punishing traders who are peacefully sitting at home only blurs this line and delegitimizes the state security narrative. Now, thirdly, also Soludo should advocate and not suppress. As governor, Soludo should use his platform, to formally advocate for a political and legal resolution to Kanu's issue. I keep on hitting on this because most of them are not actually genuine in fighting to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So whether through judicial reviews, political negotiations, or federal engagement, silence or hostility is interpreted as complicity. Now, fourth, you talk about the economic incentive, not threats. If the goal is to, revive Monday economic activities, incentives work better than force. Reduced market levies, temporal tax relief, or Monday. Now, the fifth one that I want Soludo to do is to protect neutral space. Market should remain neutral economic zone, not political battleground. Once traders feel the market is unsafe, politically or physically, capital flight and underground trading begin. So that also is a problem. And sixth one is for him to read the silence carefully. The calm in Igbo land is not approval. It is a suppressed expression. Any government that mistakes silence for consent often act too late. Soludo must read this very moment carefully and act with restraint. Now, the bottom line. Governance is not about who can force compliance, but about who can manage tension wisely. If Governor Soludo continues on a confrontational path, he risks inciting avoidable unrest and damaging his own political legacy. If he chooses dialogue, restraint, and advocacy, he positions himself as a stabilizer, not as an antagonist in every sensitive moment in Igbo land. Now, our story did not end there. Barrister Ifeanyi Ejiofor, the former lawyer to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, also have this to say. And according to him, he wrote, "My position on the so-called Monday sit at home has always been clear, consistent, and publicly stated from the very beginning." According to Ejiofor, for the avoidance of doubts and for those who choose selective amnesia, the sit at home was formally, expressly, and unequivocally cancelled by the indigenous people of Biafra, that is IPOB, a global peaceful movement. That cancellation was neither implied nor conditional. It was categorically, from that moment, ceased to exist legally, logically, and morally. Now, he also wrote that what followed thereafter cannot be described as civil disobedience or ideological resistance. What emerged was the criminal resurrection of a defunct narrative, distorted and violently enforced by lawless elements, spearheaded by Simon Ekpa, whose operation thrives not on principle but on fear, extortion, and bloodshed. It must be clearly stated that this campaign of violence does not represent any IPOB policy. It is a parasitic enterprise sustained through intimidation, coercion, and the deliberate terrorization of the innocent citizen. He continued by saying his position, therefore, has never shifted, and that he has consistently maintained that the continued enforcement of a directive that no longer exists, keep solely through threats, rests on no ideological foundation, no legal basis, and no moral authority whatsoever. It is against this background that the Anambra State government decision to shut down the main market must be examined with sobriety, proportionality, and unwavering fidelity to the rule of law. Collective punishment of traders and law-abiding citizens who are themselves victims and hostage of fear cannot be dressed up as security policy. It is neither just nor strategic. But in my opinion, I think the people should be allowed. I don't think anybody is being allowed to. I don't think anybody currently is being ordered to sit at home. It has become a phenomenon that people cannot even resist. And I think it is purely ideological resistance. Now, countering the Ejiofor position, while Barrister Ejiofor asserts that the Monday sit at home enjoys no legitimacy, no commands, no authority, and possesses no justification. A closer look at the socio-political context suggests otherwise, because first, civil disobedience and ideological resistance are not limited to formal directives or official organizations. They often emerge organically as expression of popular conscience and political will. You all know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu already, said no, nobody should sit at home again. You all should go to the market, go to your businesses and all of that. But people still do that wholeheartedly. In Igbo land today, the sit at home has long been a peaceful, symbolic form of protest aimed at asserting the demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, highlighting the grievances regarding the perceived injustice, even if the original IPOB directives was, formally, cancelled, as Ejiofor said. The practice continues because the underlying ideological principle, that is the resistance against perceived injustice, remains alive. Secondly, civil disobedience does not require legality. Civil disobedience is by definition a deliberate non-violent defiance of certain laws or orders to protest injustice. The sit-at-home in its essence fits this very description. Citizens voluntarily refrain from economic activity, not to cause chaos, but to make a moral and political statement. Its legitimacy is derived from popular consent and moral authority, not merely formal organizational endorsement, even though the IPOB started it. Then third, symbolic enforcement versus criminality. While Ejiofor characterized the continuation of sit-at-home as hijacked by violent actors, this does not erase the symbolic meaning for millions of Igbo who have observed it peacefully. A distinction must be made between criminal hijacking of a protest and the original ideological motivated civil action. The failure of some individuals to remain peaceful cannot delegitimize the entire practice as an act of ideological resistance. Now we move to number 4, which is silence as an expression. Even in the absence of explicit IPOB directives, the voluntary observance of sit-at-home represent a collective conscious refusal to participate in normal economic routine, which is a recognized form of civil protest worldwide, a hallmark of ideological resistance. So in summary, the sit-at-home remains a form of civil disobedience and ideological resistance. That is my opinion, because it is deliberate, non-violent, morally grounded action, expressing the will and conscience of the people. Dismissing it as merely criminal or illegitimate overlooks the broader socio-political reality and lived experience of millions who observe it peacefully. So I do not actually have much to counter. That is all I have to say as regards to what Ejiofor said. So that is the little I have to say. Please like this video, share and leave your comment. And most importantly, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, subscribe to this very channel. Of course, you need to turn on the notification so you would always get notified whenever we drop any new update. Thank you for your time once again.